Oh, I tell you what. Yeah, you listening? I know you are. I know you wanna subscribe. Subscribe. I can't even say the word. I've just been having a good weekend, and again, I'm back to talking to you, sharing with you some updates, highlights. We are staying in Scandinavian country of Sweden. Let's stay there for a bit. Relax, just stay there with me for me. Let's just enjoy the limelights, the highlights, the good things. Because while we are still in Stockholm, there's a flight on the runway. The name of the flight is Woodhall Airlines. The pilot is Tara Davis is a pilot. I'm talking of long jump. I know I got your attention. The runway is about to be cleared for a jet, a fast traveling, running, speedy jet. I call it an airline. I should have called it a jet. Tara Davis in long jump. She takes off. She kind of little stumbled on the takeoff moment. There's a little bit moment of, I think it was turbulence, the wind maybe, the weather maybe. I'll give her that benefit. When she takes off, she has to defy gravity for 7.5 meters. That's a long way from where I'm sitting right here. Okay? When she lands, she breaks the meet record in 7:05 in long jump. Brilliant. She's back with that thunder. Yeah, that was your pilot. That was the airlines or the jet. She took off in Stockholm in that field event. The competition had to contend with taking second and third place, with Jasmine Moore taking that third tier position. Malaika Muhando of Germany, I kind of gave her that preview that she might be in the contention. She might be another protagonist in that long jump. Tara Davis won't have none of that. She just decided in my first jump, I'm sending the message. She was thrilled, as usual. She let know people who are behind the camera she's back, and she was back to land at 7 meters away from the takeoff. You have to defy gravity to do that. Well done. Tara Davis-Woodhall, she's back, heading to World Championship. She's the girl to watch. Yeah, I said it. She's the one to watch, and you'll see why later down the road. Keep an eye on that one. 400 hurdles wasn't surprising. There's a lady from Holland. She's on her 27th winning streak. Femke Bol from Rabat to Oslo, now to Stockholm. 52-1 gives her the victory over Delilah Mohammed, who is not a pedestrian hurdler either. She gave her a good run. The last two hurdles, I think Femke Bol was just too good. She was just brilliant. She's having a season that we expect her to be having. I think she's found her techniques to be playing a good role. She's strong. Femke Bol is strong, and the competition that I was expecting to be there hasn't shown up yet. You know it is. It's Lebron. Sydney McLaughlin is still not on the par with Femke Bol. We might see her down the road, maybe in the World Championship, which is kind of, I don't know, there should be a build-up towards the World Championship. That's my opinion on the hurdles. The American Sydney should show up somewhere, and let's see how they look. Maybe early in the season so we can see who is who. Like any other event, like you remember Benjamin, Carsten, and Allison. They're not worried about each other, how they look. They just go there and compete. It's 1, 2, 3. It's a good day. If you're third, you're good. If you're fourth, you're good. Let's have these things, man. Give us what we want. Sydney McLaughlin, LeBron. I know she got some cash with the GST, Michael Johnson. I'll talk about what I read too, the fallout in GST in my next episode. Keep an eye for that one. You'll be happy, or you'll be like, whoa, I told you so. Anyway, that was 400 meters hurdles, Femke Bol, and we just came back. We came from the flying. I'll call her what? I have to find a name for Tara Davis. She's just too good in long jump at the moment. The other event I'm going to talk about maybe for a second or two is Mary Moraa, the Kenyan bronze medalist, world champion. If you watch me, I've been kind of giving a bit of a bad mouth, calling her out, telling her where you at, show up, let's see what you got in 800 meters. She made an attempt. It wasn't a bad one. I have to give her that. The attempt to me, I think, falls in the category of she's still rusty, like any other debut in a race. You're not very sure. I think mentally I'll question where Mary Moraa is. But I know she's a tough cookie. She always shows up. Bronze medalist is not something you pick down in a antique show or an antique shop. You got to go on it. So she's a bronze medalist from Olympics. She's a world champion from 2019. So for me, 2019, why did I say 2019? That's way back. She's a world champion. Don't quote me on the 2019. Yeah, so Mary Moraa had a very interesting race. She came to the bell, the 400 meters, and then she faded backward. She went backward, and then she made another comeback. I hope she finds a competitive edge, because when Mary Moraa shows up, she does, and she has a good dance. I didn't see the downside that much. I was just what I wanted her to do well. 157. 157 when Georgia Hunter Bell nipped her on the line wasn't bad. And then Prudence, the South African, at 158. Those are not bad times right now. 158, 157 is not horrible times in 800. So I'll give Mary Moraa a break. I hope, and like I say, I hope she marches on to the trials, and then we're going to see her in the World Championship. Because right now I'm looking at the 800 women going into the World Championship. Kelly Hutchison, the Brit, is injured. We don't know her status. Our physios, maybe they find her healthy and ready to race, but we have about 90 or 80 days to go. Moraa Thing, the American, who knows, since the fall in the trials last year, I've talked about the fragility of the mind. I'm concerned about that all the time when it comes to professional athletes. I always try to look at, is it damaged? Is it a permanent damage? So yeah, 800 women is open right now. I don't think I can see a favorite going in. And of course, you know the rounds of the 800. So Mary Moraa, not a bad day for her, I'll give you that. Hopefully you find the Mary Moraa of old. I know America hasn't been good to you in the GST. I hope you got paid some money you can take to Bosongo in those sides of Kenya. I'll finish with 5,000 men. Let me tell you why. I think if you've been watching these episodes, I've said there's a movement, there's a shift, there's a seismic shift when it comes 5 or distance runners running as a whole. My take is that African athletes have moved on from track in long distance event. They've gone to road races and marathon. That's just my take for now. I can expand on that later. There's more money in marathon, there's more money in road races. There's not much money in 5,000 meters, 10,000. So most of them don't really invest in track anymore. That's the trend. You remember Eliud Kipchoge, very good in track. He moved on to marathon, he became a legend. There's a shift. There's always that movement towards the lucrative, where money is. I don't blame athletes. You have to look at here and now. I say this because there's a gap that has been left, and is being filled up by what I call the white nation, or the white Western athletes resurgence, or this idea of recognizing that they are coming up to fill those gaps. There's this renaissance. I talked of sprinters in Africa having a renaissance, or these the Botswanese, the Namibia, the South Africans. They are becoming more of sprinters nations. So there's always those movements that if you are an observer of athletics, you can see how those things work out. And so I say this because Nico Young, who just broke the American record in 5,000, is no pushover. We have Grant Fisher. He ain't no easy fish to find either. He has 12:44 indoor, 12:45 for Nico Young, the American. And now we have Andreas Almgren, the Swede, who just made the crowd go crazy in 5,000. Broke the European record in 12:45. Second place was an Ethiopian, Girma Kuma, and I don't even remember. I think Australian was third. It was an African event, if I may say that. It looked like there's a mixed bag here, but I think I'm seeing something about 5,000 mostly at the moment and 1,500. It's kind of leaning towards the West athletes, the Caucasian descent. That is something I'm always aware of because back in the 90s, the days of in the beginning of a track and field, we had great names. Prefontaine was a juggernaut. You know, he didn't win, but he was the face of distance running in America. I've talked about that here. So those movements, Las Eviren, the Finn, in the 1930s, you know, I can go on and on. I can just give you that history, and there's always that movement. Where is the money sometimes, or where is the glory? Where is the glamour? So I think I'm noticing that we had Nordin Moseli in the 90s, the Algerian, who dominated 1500 for a long time. Then you had Al Garouj, who is still the world record holder in the mile. So you're always looking at that. Now we have Jakob Hengbersten, the Norwegian. There's always that movement who owns the event and who does that for a long period of time. So in the 5,000, I saw that Andreas Almgren, the Swede, just give 100-meter gap on even Kenyans who are on the field. I think there was some guy from Kenya, Kip Koech. Who cares? They were like nowhere to be seen. 13 minutes. Oh, Cole Hawker tried it. The 1,500-meter gold medalist from Paris. 13 something. He should stick to 1,500 for now. Yeah, so that is my take on Stockholm. I'll tell you guys it was a great weekend for track and field. Great winning streaks for some of the athletes from who to who. And it's me just giving you a condensed version and my perspective. You trust this channel? Yeah, I know you do. Keep subscribing. You watch me. I can see you watching. Don't hesitate, my friend. Let's talk to you again on another show that is coming up shortly. Let you know. And before I let you go, 3,000 meter steeplechase is an event that you should invest your time to watch. You know why? When I shared with you guys about Doris Lemgole, the high tide Alabama national champ, national record holder in collegiate athlete, I didn't say enough. You need to pay attention to that lady. She's something to behold. She's a Pocotian from West Pokot. The reason why I say is because there's a lady I've said she's a matriarch and a mother of women in running, Tekla de Rupe, in the 90s. That's a goddess in track and field. That girl was this short, but she was a Porsche. She was a Porsche in marathon and even 10K. Doris Lemgole reminds me of that. Strong, powerful. She destroyed the field in the national championship. 8:58 is the top time to beat in 3,000. Faith Cherotich, Wilfred Yavi, anybody in that steeplechase should be aware that there's Doris. And she's knocking on doors and saying, open the door, here I come. You see how excited I go? You see how broad I get? Yeah, this is a channel to watch about running, man. If you enjoyed, this is a guy to talk to. You know what time it is. It's time to say good night, goodbye, and good life.